Hi, Mason. It was great to meet with you yesterday. And following up on what I promised you to do, I'm recording a little step-by-step video today to help you um, try to upload your your PowerPoint resource into a tool like Formative in order to create a flipped activity based off of a slideshow that could be interactive, in which you could add question, in which you could see student work, in which you collect student data. So think about Edpuzzle, what it does with a video, but doing it with actually a paper resource, a PDF resource, or PowerPoint. Okay. So I learned as I was doing this for you that there are a few little steps to take into account. First thing before we can start, the PowerPoint format is not taken by Formative. The favorite format for Formative is PDF. So the first thing we would have to do will be to convert your PowerPoint into a PDF, which I'm going to show you. The second thing also I found out is Formative is not a big fan of long PDFs with multiple pages augmented. So they limit to 5 pages at a time. So what I'm going to show you is if you work on a PowerPoint with kids and you give them a PowerPoint, we're going to break it down into increments of 5 pages. And then we're going to upload them into Formative. And that's not that hard. The key for us is to start with working in the Drive. So first, make sure that you are in your Google Drive account. Once you are in your Google Drive account, the first thing to do would be to upload your PowerPoint, if it's a PowerPoint, into the Google Drive. So let's see here. Where is your PowerPoint you're sending? Here. So I'm just going to upload it. Of course, if you're directly making a Google slide into the PowerPoint, that step of uploading is not necessary. All right, now that I've uploaded it, I'm going to open it. Here, I'm going to choose to open with Google Slides. It's going to take a moment. Okay, now that my PowerPoint is in Google Slide, I'm going to trim it. So the first thing you told me yesterday is you wanted to start on slide 10. You're already the first 9 slide. So I'm going to click on the first slide right here, and I'm going to hit delete. And I'm going to do this for the first 9 slides of the presentation. We're going to delete them until we're ready to start at the slide that was number 10, which is this one. Now, the second thing I told you was that Formative prefers these resource to be, I think here was actually the next one, so let me select one more. To be in increments of 5 pages. So before we download into a PDF, we have 10 right there. So what I think we should do is do 2 copies of part 1 and part 2. So part 1 is going to be 1 through 5. So I'm going to delete 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once I have these 5 slides, I'm just going to change the name up here. That's how it works in Google Drive. And I'm going to call this one part 1. And that's done. Now I'm going to go back to my Drive. I'm going to use my same document. I'm going to open it with Google Slides. And then once I have opened it with Google Slides, this time I'm just going to keep the last 5. So again, that step here you wouldn't have to do if you were working with a PowerPoint that was already less than 5 slides. But if it's more, we got to chunk it, which kind of makes sense. It's probably better also for the kids. So for this one, I still want to get rid of the first slides that they already did. But I also want to get rid of the first 5. So we should be right here. And that's my part 2. I'm going to go into the title, and I'm going to call this part 2. All right, I have my part 1, I have my part 2. I'm going to download both of them. So I'm going to go into File, Download as PDF. And then for the other one, I'm going to go into File, Download as PDF. In the future, if you're interested, I can show you how to work directly into Google Slide. It's exactly the same as PowerPoint. That will cut on one step. Plus, if you're doing it this way, once you get to 5 slides, you might just download this as a PDF before you move on if you know that you want to put it in a formative. But we have both of our PDFs now. So I'm going to go into formative. And so here I'm going to click on new assignment. I'm going to give it a title. So that was percent change part 2 because they already did this with you. And then I'm going to choose to upload and transform. I'm going to start with my first PDF, the one that I called part 1. So I'm going to go in my download and I'm going to find part 1. This is it. And I'm going to click on open. So it's going to bring the document inside formative. It's going to take a second. All right. It's actually going to break it down into multiple pages. You're going to see. There you go. So you can label the page of the document if you want it. And that's the first 5 pages. And then here at the bottom, I can do the same thing with part 2. I'm going to click here and I'm going to look for part 2. Here it is. Same process, taking a second. All right, that was the hardest part because you're going to see everything that comes now. It's going to be fairly easy, intuitive. Okay, so let's say I could say this is the warm-up of the activity if I want. I'm going to label it. And here in this first question, I might actually want them to do it to see if they remember what we did last time. So the little plus symbol, I'm going to click in the page here, and I'm going to add a question. I can choose to make it multiple choice, show your work, short answer, or true and false. Multiple choice, I would have to give some answer choices. Short answer, they would type their short answer, and I could provide the correct answers right here so that they could double check what they got. And I could give them a score, actually. Let me throw that away. The last option would be to do true false if you want it, or show your work. So the show your work is the one that if you add, students are going to be able to draw, write, and so you will see live the steps of their work. So sometimes for a math teacher, that could be helpful. So let's do it, show your work. You can change the points you're giving for the question. For the show your work question, though, you cannot have like an answer right here, right? So you're going to have everybody work sample, but it won't give you a score. Okay, so let's do done. Okay. And then one thing, so for that first question, will be a show your work. Let's move to the second page. Here, there might be nothing interesting to augment, or there might be something. So we're going to skip this one. Here are 2 methods. So you could choose to ask a question here or not. For example, when we come here, you were showing them a method, but here you were giving them a practice problem. So on the PowerPoint, it was hidden by the blocks, right? So we would have to modify that because they cannot see the problem. But let's imagine you wanted to give them a problem here. All right, add a question. And we could say we're going to make this one short answer. And we can say using method 1 or 2, find the discount on the following price. So I'm not making up a problem right now. You know what you would do? You could write the correct answer there, and you'll be done. Now, one interesting thing that sometimes people do that is kind of cool is you can add something here that wouldn't be a question, but would be some content. For example, if students struggle with this question, and you could put a video here that they could watch for correction if you want it. It would have to be a YouTube video, but that's kind of neat, right? So for example, if I go to YouTube here, I could write, in case you struggle with this question. And then here, I can use a YouTube URL, like for this video on percent of change. And I can drop it in there. So a student that did not do well on this question has a chance to watch a video if I wanted. So I'm making this document interactive. Let's preview what the students would see. Very similar to what you're seeing, and it would just give them these little numbers that they know to click on, and that's a sign that there is something to do there or something to watch. And then live results will be where you see the results, which is not going to work with this one because we don't have anybody who has taken it. So let's go back to formative. And let's look at a sample one, what the live results would look like when somebody has made one and students have taken it. So here's a math one with basketball court dimension. The first slide was just a picture, but if you look at question one, the teacher showed a show your work question. So you get to see what everybody has done. Quite a difference from like do this online and hoping for the best, right? You can really see what they did. For question two, it was a short answer. And this time we're able to see who got it right or who got it wrong. And for question three, it was an extended answer. Note that you can also switch here and see a summary, which again could be really powerful because then you are able to see what question they struggle with or not. For the show your work question, you probably he probably graded it himself. For the other one, they were graded automatically. But that's pretty neat. You can see that Jesse needs help, definitely. So that might be a one-on-one intervention. But you also see that question two is hard for everybody. So that might be a good do now question. So that's kind of what this could allow you to do using some of what you would have given in the past as a PowerPoint, as a PDF, as a worksheet even. You can augment it and have live data from it. So that's pretty cool. Okay, if you like what you're seeing there, and if that's tempting for you to try to make one, try to make one between now and next time. David will be a great resource to help you, David Freeman. And he will probably show you the classes piece with Google Classroom because there is now an integration. And I think my video went a little too long. I'm sorry. 12 minutes, Mason. Sorry. But I figured it was good to go step by step about what you need to do. Hope that will help. Have a good weekend.